Cool.
Welcome everyone to today's AGP webinar. Obviously, thank you for taking time to attend. I'm Lisa from the AGP office at Winning Pitch, just here to help Lee facilitate the session today. I'll pass you over to Lee in a moment, but just before we do, if we just go through a few housekeeping rules for those of you who haven't been on our webinars yet. Can you please ensure your microphone is muted to avoid any interference or background noise during the presentation? There will be a question and answer session later on, at which point obviously you can switch your mics back on and ask your questions there, or if you prefer you can ask them via the chat facility and Lee will try to answer as many of these as possible. If you need any support during the webinar, I'll be here to monitor the chat, so any problems or questions, just please pop them in the chat. We are being recorded this morning just to help us collate any questions or comments which may be missed. If anyone has any questions or concerns about this, please do let us know. Following on from the webinar, you'll receive 2 emails from myself. We do require you to sign a digital registration form for the Welsh Government. This will be an AG3 and you'll receive this via our Hello sign. With a link. Literally takes less than a minute, very easy to follow, and just allows us to confirm to Welsh Government that the webinar took place and how many people attended. Really important that we get these back, please. So if you could do that, that would be fab. You'll also receive an email with a link to 2 surveys to provide feedback to us. So please, can you complete these as well, because it gives us help and guidance then for any future webinars that we present. There will be a link on there for the COVID-19 survey on there. If you've done the webinars before, you'll have already done that survey there, so you don't need to do that one again. And on that note, I will hand you over to Lee. So over to you, Lee.
Good morning. So my name is Lee Woodman. I run a consultancy called Visit Digital. So we kind of specialize in helping companies dig into their data sets primarily to help get kind of commercial insights from that data. So today we're gonna cover e-commerce. So this is a bit of a, if you're already in e-commerce, hopefully you'll find some actionable insights. And also if you're just starting out in e-commerce, I'm going to try and give you some tips and hints what you need to be thinking about at the very early stages of your business. So we're going to be looking at choosing your e-commerce platform. We're going to look at competitor research and market analysis, absolutely key ingredients in this. And then we're going to look at how we structure or restructure your store to maximize search engine exposure and, ultimately get more customers, and how we can convert more of those customers to actually buy products. So we're looking at improving conversion rates, sometimes known as CRO, so conversion rate optimization. So let's get stuck in. So, these are probably the platforms that you've seen. You're either on these platforms or you're hearing about them. You're just about to make a decision whether to go with them. 2 of the main ones we're looking at, Magento is very popular, Shopify is very popular, WooCommerce, BigCommerce and Squarespace seem to be making quite a bit of inroads as well because of generally the simplicity of using these platforms. They've all got pluses and minuses, so hopefully we're gonna touch on some of these a bit later on. I've got experience in like WooCommerce, Shopify, Magento, bit of Squarespace. Now, this is what we're after, and the opportunity which has presented itself through COVID. Lockdown is happening around this point, and we've got pretty stratospheric growth in the e-commerce space. So everybody wants to try and jump on this bandwagon. This company in particular, they've not really done anything different. There's just a lot more people in the market looking for their products and willing to buy online. And some of these companies some of these customers are using e-commerce for the first time. My mum's sitting over there. She's now doing a Tesco shop online. That's quite a big step for her. So there's more people in these markets looking for products to buy online. So, we all want this. That's what we're aiming for. So hang on, why can't I get through? So the temptation here is that, we're going to jump into e-commerce, let's start designing our website, right? So we just need to stop immediately at that point. Everybody can relate to what they think a website should look like, the kind of information that it needs to have on there, especially if you've been in business for, for 20 years. It's like, I know my customer, I know what they want. I know what colors they like. I know what information needs to be provided. I know the layout, and I want to get straight into design. So we just need to take a little step back there, because it's not an accident that building materials is listed first and security and ironmongery is down the end there. Okay, these are data-driven decisions. So, a question you probably haven't been asked or a question you haven't asked your web agency, is how are we going to design this? Okay, so everybody probably recognizes this. This is the Google search result. So before a visitor gets to your website, probably 50 or 60% of your audience are going to be coming in via Google search, and they're going to be finding you via search engines, Google, Bing, whatever that channel might be. You've got very limited scope how you design this, or how you want to portray each page and category of content in the search result. Now, visually, it's very important that the website looks good. Unless you actually get somebody to click on this result, or you get somebody to click on your page from social media, whatever it is, that it doesn't matter how good that web page looks, because they're not going to see it. So, thinking of your website out of context, in my opinion, is equally as important as what it looks like visually. Because again, unless they click on this, they're never going to see the end result. So the typical web build process as it stands at the moment is that, client engages with an agency. The client expects the agency to bring a digital strategy, and the agency expects the client to understand their audience 100% and bring that market insight. Now, the agency is looking to instill this market knowledge in the website. The client is expecting to use the agency's expertise in digital marketing and, online to build their digital strategy. Unfortunately, that relationship is never maximized to its full potential, because it misses quite often a key ingredient there, and that's actual data analysis and digital marketing insight in the mix. Because the client, they may be experts in their market, but they don't truly understand how their audiences search for their products and how they engage with their websites currently. Agencies, and I might be painting a broad brush here, but agencies are design and development. They're not marketers. So there's this missing component which happens very often. It probably happens 90% of the time. So the opportunity to, drop digital marketing into the mix here at this key stage where you're building a product it can be a game changer. So when I used to work for a publishing company, when I first started working there, 2007, they'd come to me 9:00 in the morning and go, "We're launching today." Right? So I'd not been part of any of this process. I was working in this company as SEO manager. So they'd come to me on launch day and say, "We go live today. Can you do some SEO?" And it's like, well, we can do a bit, but the ship has sailed. Somebody has made all this planning and decision making without the involvement of anybody from digital marketing. And now you're asking us to market this website digitally. So the longer I was at this company, the further back down this process we got, to the point where we're being asked at concept stage of these businesses, is there a market for us? Is there a market there? Should we actually be investing in building this product, building this website, or whatever it might be? They're using the data to make the decision about market entry. It's fundamentally different from, rocking up and saying, "SEO guys, can you help us now market this product?" And the reason for that is that you need to research, because the information that can be gleaned from the market, competitors, etc., it needs to be built in here. That needs to influence this step, so that the business can be aware of the opportunity throughout the build process. So when it comes to launch, you haven't really got to say, can you do some SEO? SEO and digital marketing and your market knowledge is built into the product. So, these are the top e-commerce traffic drivers. This is one of my clients, Google Organic Search, Google CPC, which is paid search, Google Ads. Those two make up 55, nearly 56% of the audience. Now, a key channel, you need to think about how your website's going to interact with those channels. Facebook Marketplace or Facebook sharing, for example, here. Again, what's your website going to look like when somebody shares each and every page of content in Google search? You've probably seen an example where you just get, about this much information shared about a page, whereas some companies, when they share their content, it's very, it looks really good. Yeah. So again, that's not their website. That's what their website looks like in the context of these platforms, and it's just not considered as part of a build process at the moment. So where do we start? Again, research. And doing this at the very early stages. If you're already in e-commerce and you've already got a website, and when I typically engage with clients, this is what I go back and do. This is not only does it help me understand their market, but it quite often hasn't been done. So we've got to take a step back and actually understand what the market looks like. I'm going to try not to spend too much time inside PowerPoint. I've got a few examples, but bear with me. So, and by doing this research up front, you're going to get competitive advantage because you will be finding things out that your competitors may not know. So to put into perspective, if I go into a boardroom and I'm asked to present my understanding of a business's marketplace, there are two tools which I use, SEMrush, SEMrush, and Google Search Console. And very often you can give somebody who's been in business for 20, 30 years 10 things they didn't know about their customers. Yeah, and you can do that in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes research before you go into that boardroom, you can tell them things that they didn't know about their customers. So if you can do that in 5 minutes, think what you can do, with a planned attack on the market and competitors. So this is SEMrush. So this is looking at a website called carbuyer.co.uk. So this is third-party data. You can go and have a look at this. I mean, I've got a paid account. I think you can get I think you can do 5 or 6 lookups per day for free. So we can see that they're driving about 1.2 million organic visitors a month. Now, this only looks at search, so it's Google search specific and Google Ads specific. So if they were doing any paid search, you'd be able to see that in here as well. Bear in mind, this is third-party data, so take it with a pinch of salt. It's not always accurate, but it's a guide. So you can see the traffic trend here, so the growth of this company over time. And we can see since lockdown has eased, explosive, number of people in the market looking to buy cars. Yeah. So what kind of traffic is actually driving, or what drives traffic to your competitors? What keywords are actually driving people from Google search into your competitors' websites? Now, again, within a couple of minutes, you can pick any competitor and you can see these guys. So Carbuyer has 201,000 search terms, which are driving traffic to that website. Fundamental information that you need to know when you're building your website versus, when you've launched it, the ship sailed, and you ask somebody to do SEO. It's not the right time to do it. You've got to do it at the very, very beginning. If you've already got a website, then you've got to do that process anyway. But the cheapest time to do it and the best opportunity long term is you do it at the very, very beginning of your projects. So we can analyze here 200,000 search terms driving traffic at our competitors, and we can build that knowledge about our customers into our new website. Okay. So what's the benefit of understanding your customers' behavior? So building brand is really hard. Yeah. So if you want to build an Amazon today, think about, when we're looking for something, we will just search for Amazon. So we'll go there and we know that when we get there, the experience we're going to get is really good. But think how much it cost Amazon to actually build that brand. So what if we could flip it on its head and not particularly worry about brand, but think about what's called generic search. So think about how our customers interact and buy our products. So this is carbuyer. Now, 98% of the traffic that arrives at carbuyer is on non-brand search. So when somebody searches in Google, 98 out of 100 of them don't use words that contain carbuyer. So it drives traffic, or traffic arrives on things like Ford Fiesta review, MPG, compare cars, Ford Fiesta boot capacity. Okay. Now, think about the commercial intent of somebody searching for best family cars. Yeah. They're probably starting to think about the buy cycle, buying these products. So, your marketing funnel looks like this. They're at the top here. And if you can hook somebody in on best family cars, you've got an opportunity to drive them down your sales funnel to buy from you rather than competitors, because you might have given them a good experience throughout. Yeah. So let's say we want to build a e-commerce store. We're gonna challenge carbuyer. So we want to take all their Ford Fiesta traffic. We want to start selling Ford Fiestas. Okay. Our competitor is carbuyer. Right now, I'm going to dig into carbuyer's data set. So I'm going to look at what search terms drive traffic at their website around Ford Fiestas. Okay. I'm assuming everybody can see this. Okay. Yeah. Shout if not, make it a bit bigger. So we've got here a list of 2,000 search terms. Okay. These, imagine this said ST500 brake horsepower Ford Fiesta. I've just stripped out the word Ford Fiesta because it's not interesting at this stage, because I know all these keywords relate to Ford Fiesta. So I just stripped that out to make the data a bit better. Now, nobody wants to process and analyze this much information, 2,000 rows of data. It's not realistic to do that. So what we can do is pick up all this data and we can drop it into, tag crowd. So bearing in mind, what the purpose of this is to try and understand what our customers, what's their search habits around this space, Ford Fiestas. What are they interested in knowing, so we can provide that information and help them on their buy journey. Yeah, so we're trying to get in their head as early as possible and just relate to them, So taking all that data, we basically looking at which terms appear the most. So we've got things like review, we've got problems, we've got interior, we've got dimensions. So if somebody's buying one, probably want to know it fits in the garage. What colors do they do? Can I get on finance? What engines it got? What MPGs it got? What's the price? Yeah, so you kind of get the idea. We've taken a lot of data and we've made it actionable, I suppose is what you could say. We now understand how people look for Ford Fiestas in Google search. Yeah. So armed with that knowledge.
Sorry, can I just come on? We've lost your share screen.
Okay. Can you see you? Can you? Okay. Where did you lose me?
I think it's only just a couple of minutes ago, I think.
Okay, hang on. Let's have a look. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So did you get to, so where did you got to this point where I took
Yeah,
this
I think we
data?
had there, and then you were
Yeah.
popping in there. Yeah.
Okay. Had you seen
Can,
this tag crowd?
no, and Lee, sorry to
Okay.
interrupt. That's
Okay.
exactly the question. Was you took the data? You said you had 2,000 rows of data. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
analyze that. You drop it in, and I lost that. Is that what you're dropping it into tag
Okay.
crowd?
Yes, dropping it into tag crowd. So we're now able to see, we're now able to kind of take that data, show us what the most searched for terms are in the Ford Fiesta keyword list that we had. So we've got review, we've got interior. I think you could probably hear me speak previously, but MPG, engine size, deals. These are all commercially valuable terms. Apart from problems, if somebody's searching for problems, they probably already got one. Yeah, or you could argue that they want to understand if it's a problematic car. Yeah, so you might want to touch on that in terms of reviews. But this is a way of taking a lot of data. So you gather as much data about your market as possible. Try and niche it down on specific topic areas, and then you can run that information through a tool like this, and it will quickly help you visualize what that looks like. Okay. So let's get back on here. Okay, so we've now kind of developed our Ford Fiesta keyword universe. Okay, so how do we actually use this information to our advantage? So now I'm going to flick back to carbuyer. I know we've researched carbuyer, we're competing against them in this instance, but it's not an accident that their website is structured like this. So this is the review page. Okay. Equally, you could click on MPG running costs and CO2. So if I click on that, this is going to give me in-depth information about that topic for Ford Fiesta. Engines, drive and performance, interior comfort, practicality and boot space, owner reviews, pictures, prices and specs. Okay. Now, if we go back, pretty much all of those things exist in here. Yeah. So they've taken that information and they've translated it into site structure because they know that that's how the audience searches for their products, and they know that's what the consumer is interested in about Ford Fiesta. So give them that information in your website, so you're going to drive that audience to your website because you got that information. If you simply had, here's a picture of a Ford Fiesta, there's a buy now button, it's you're picking somebody up there when they've already looked at all this information, and you're trying to hook them right at the end of their buy cycle. At that point, they need to trust you, and that's a big task to buy something which is going to cost you 16 grand. Yeah, so think about your marketing funnel. How do you help people along each step of that funnel? This is a good example. Yeah. So a lot of my clients acquire customers here at their point of acquisition. Very, very expensive to do that. Okay, you need to think about these steps before. So awareness of the product, consideration, yeah, and this is the last resort really, is acquisition, because to get yourself in a position where someone's eyeballs are going to see you at the point they're ready to buy, very expensive, because everybody else wants to be in that position as well. So think about how you make people aware of your product, right? So Naissance based in Neath, so they sell. Can you still see my screen? Okay, looks like it. I think so.
Yeah.
So this is one of their products, castor organic oil. Now, there's the product, right? Well, where again, if you come back to the buy cycle, that is at this point they're ready to buy a product. Yeah. Whereas, did you know you can use castor oil for your hair? Hang on, I got something interfering with my screen here. There we go. So castor oil for beautiful bold hair and natural skincare. I don't use it myself, but they're talking to you about the product. My wife didn't know that you could use castor oil for your hair. She tried to vehemently deny that you could use it. So I showed her this article, and taught her something. But what you're building here is a awareness of use cases of this product, and it supports it. So what you'll find in the fashion and lipstick industry, or that kind of space, is that blogs are very influential for people to buy, versus it probably has an impact in other sectors, but to much less degree. If somebody's going to buy a pair of socks, a blog article is not going to influence them that much. If somebody is looking to put something on their hair, that's a very personal choice. They need to be confident, and they need to trust. They need to trust that. So blogs can be helpful in helping to make people more confident in buying your product. So again, site structure. I'm going to keep coming back to this because this is the biggest opportunity for people to make, to give a better experience to their customers. So this is the BBC. This is not eCommerce, but this gives you an example about site structure. The BBC, when they present their information about Manchester United, football, any kind of sports, you've got the BBC homepage, then you've got sport, then you've got Premier League, then you've got the team that you want to pick. Then about that team, we've got fixtures, results, players, news. Okay, so there's site structures architected like this. Who's decided that they're going to structure it like that? Yeah, well, it's because it's what the data says they need to structure it like. So we know that best part of 1 million monthly searches look for somebody who's searching for Manchester United news. 165,000 people a month look for Manchester United fixtures. You could simply drop somebody on a Manchester United homepage, which tried to contain all this information, but think about it from a user experience perspective. It wouldn't be the best experience. Google is all about user experience, so they want to make sure that when somebody searches for something, there's no effort required for the user to find what they're looking for. So we overestimate how people. We probably underestimate how people need to be led around a website. So, call to action, make sure there is a button which says buy now, not learn more. You want to buy now, or people need actions. They need to be told what to do. So, from Google's perspective, if somebody searches for Manchester United news, they want to see that information. That is the first thing they want to see. They don't want to trawl through a page looking for the information. Might be there, but it's just not very easy to get at. You've got to speak the same language. This is a classic in like the healthcare space, especially with consultants. So consultants like to talk about lip augmentation because it justifies the cost. It's not how the audience searches for it. Yeah. So if you're a healthcare provider and your marketing strategy is kind of heavily influenced by consultants, they're not talking the right language. They're very reluctant to use that word, lip fillers, because it cheapens their offering. But that's why when you look at lip fillers, you'll see some brands in there which you think, how on earth are they ranking for these kind of terms? Well, it's because they understand their audience. Yeah, so we've got 33,000 people versus 1,300. So you've got to speak the same language. Yeah. So you need to align with what your customers want. So, and the quicker you do that, the quicker you will get in the market and you'll hold market share. So, or you'll take market share, I should say. So quite often what happens with startups is tight budgets. They're very reluctant to, don't like doing market research. Yeah. So they may have an idea, or they may have, they may think they know what they want, and then a year down the line, when you challenge them on the data, they're not in the market. They haven't fully understood what their customer wants from a digital marketing perspective, and they've missed a year's worth of growth opportunity, because when you launch a website in Google search, there is a period of time where Google needs to start to trust you. Yeah. Now, if that trust, or if you are not aligned with your customer, that's going to have it. Oops, yeah, just accidentally logged myself off then. Can you still hear me? I just accidentally locked my screen then. Everybody still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. So the quicker you get to know your customers, the quicker you can build that into your website, the quicker you can get to market, and you can almost sit back and go, we've nailed this website. We know we are in the market. Now, here's an example of this is an automotive website called Auto Express. So one of the first ever domains to be registered, believe it or not. So their strategy is very news focused, but consequently it was quite spiky. So they, new Ferrari would get launched, they'd get 1 million people look at the website, and next day be back to normal figures. But the drive was for their advertising guys were like, look, we need more traffic of people who are in the buy cycle. We need to, because the manufacturers will throw as much money as you can give us if we can get people when they are looking to buy. So bearing in mind, this is very much editor driven. These are people who've been in the market for a long time. They're experts at they're experts in the car industry. They don't understand necessarily how people search for products online. So at this point, they restructured the website. They became data driven. So they're looking at what the market wants. They factored that into their website structure. Boom. I can't really give a better example than that. These guys, they'll take an asset from a local authority and they will run it, I suppose, like a not-for-profit. So they wanted to restructure their website, and this is rarely happens. They asked me to do an audit of their site before they did their new build. Believe it or not, that is a rare occurrence. So they spent money understanding the market. They wanted to know what was wrong with the existing website. So we refactored, or we just presented as like, look, there's a lot of technical problems. The website's not structured properly to target the market in the way that you want to. And, so each of those dots represents a month. And this uptick is about 150 grand a month. This is only Google search. So I don't know what happened elsewhere, but you can see the kind of impact that simply changing the structure of their website had. Yeah. And these guys, you need to be listening out for changes with Google. Algorithm changes, there's a lot of people who worry about algorithm changes. You need to worry about algorithm changes if you don't understand your customers and the way that you're presenting the information online is not correct. You also need to worry about algorithm changes if you're buying links. If you are just talking to your customers in their language, you've got a what's the word? You're doing everything right, if so to speak. Algorithm changes have little consequence on most businesses. If you get adversely affected, you're normally not doing something like there's a link building strategies, or there's some other reason you're going to get nailed. If you're doing it generally right, algorithm changes are nothing really to worry about. So again, customer knowledge is critical, and it's the cheapest way to grow your business. If you don't do it at the beginning, and if you don't invest in understanding your customers, you're going to be paying for that lack of understanding forever. So this is about like with PPC. So there's, which is Google Ads. Some people, a lot of my businesses run Google Ads. It's you get direct access to the market. You're not waiting for Google rankings. You can rank top in the paid sense overnight. But it can be an expensive route to market. It's going to be chipping away at your margins. So if you can if you can build in this knowledge from day one, then organically you're much more likely to rank. Yeah, and you're going to acquire customers organically rather than paying for them. Yeah. So I think Ultrawave are meant to be on the call, but we'll don't know whether they are or not. So I'm going to give you an example of, in my opinion, it's good site structure. Yeah. So this is rare, but this is a good example of quite good site structure. And I'm going to give you a template that when you're building a site or you're refactoring it, or go away and just think about after this call, how what information actually needs to be provided on the site to help sell your products. So this is Ultrawave, so based up in Cardiff. So they sell all these products. Yeah, so they sell the QS5, QS10, 12, 13, 18. Anybody use the QS18? It's a pretty good one, that one. Now the reality is, if you're coming into this market, you're not looking for the QS18. Never heard of it, got no idea what it does. Okay, so I don't even know what it does. It is looks like it's a pretty small one. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who it's for. Yeah, it's a product. It does something. At this stage, we don't know what it does. Okay, but it's called a QS18. If you think about this product, ultrasonic cleaning bath, okay, so it fulfills some purpose. Don't know what that purpose is at the moment, but the business knows what it is. Okay, so Ultrawave knows the application of this product, and they know the kind of companies that it can help. So what they actually do is pivot their website to talk to the industries that will use this product. So if we look at dentistry as an example, I think they've got it here. Healthcare, here we go. Dental. Yeah. So they are making it easier for the customer to choose the product. Yeah, because a dental practice probably got no idea what they actually want in terms of product lineup. So they structure their website to talk specifically to dentists and say, look, bit of blurb, not sure what that says. These are the products you probably need. Yeah? Or these are the products which we commonly sell to dental practices. So you've already made the buyer's journey a lot easier by going, okay, you're a dentist, come and have a look at our page about the products we sell to dentists. Yeah. So in terms of the marketing funnel, we're not acquisition at this point because they don't know what they want. So you've taken a step back up the funnel and you've gone, here you go, guys. Here's a lineup of products which we think fit with this industry. We're going to help you make that decision. Excuse me. We're going to help you make that decision. Here's our content strategy targeting that. Now, the next level above that is, I don't know, how do you, and this could be blog post, how do you reduce the risk of infection at your dental practice? Okay. Now, there's probably 4 things you can do. I don't know what the other 3 are. One of those is to buy an ultrasonic cleaner to clean all your things. Okay. So there's 3 stages there. You've got the product. I'd almost say with certainty, I don't know, but nobody is going to search for the U2500H. They're all going to search for ultrasonic cleaners for dentistry. Yeah. And again, above that, there's an opportunity to drive blog posts with things like, how do I make my practice more hygienic or in that kind of scenario. Think of naissance, castor oil for your hair. Yeah, so a similar kind of tactic there. So when we talk about keyword research, again, understanding our customers, these are some of the platforms where this exists: Google Analytics, Google Search Console. If you haven't got access to that, that is the holy grail of understanding your customer. Yeah. This is only available to you as a business owner. it contains very, very commercially sensitive information. And if you're not looking at the data in there, I urge you, after this call, go and get that set up so you can see what people search for. Now, that will tell you how you rank in Google search, and it will also tell you what you are not ranking well for. So if you see terms in there where you're like, there's 500 people a month searching for that, we're only getting 1 click in the last 3 months, but that term is very relevant to my business. What's my strategy to go after that? Okay. So again, this data in particular is all available via third parties. You can get it via SEMrush. Google Ads has got something called a keyword planner. But this data specifically, only you can see it. Likewise, Google Analytics. So these two platforms is your data. Now, if we're going to do keyword research around the product, the dental, for Ultrawave, around the dental cleaner, so we can see an ultrasonic dental cleaner. Interesting. Now, I'm not sure the intent there. Are they looking for a toothbrush? They definitely are. Ultrasonic cleaner for your teeth. Okay. 4,400 people in the market. As tempting as it would be to go after that, they're looking for a toothbrush. I'd say with certainty there. Dental sonic cleaner. Probably. It's probably a consumer search. Ultrasonic dental cleaning, consumer. Ultrasonic dental cleaning machine, commercial. Yeah. So there's only 10 people in that particular market for that particular phrase, but that's 10 people who are in the buy cycle. They are looking for that product. Yeah. So when it comes to site structure, you want to be looking, how does my website service that search term? Yeah. Ultrasonic cleaner for dental office, another commercial term. Okay, so we've got 20 people a month just on 2 keywords in one industry that we're interested in picking up. Yeah. How is my website going to align, or how is my website structured to pick up that customer? It's no good dropping that person on a product page. You could, but it's highly unlikely you would rank for that. So you need to think about that kind of category page, talking to dentists, saying, look, these are your options. This is the cheap one. This is the more expensive one, and everything in between. Yeah. So believe it or not, we've done probably, I don't know, 20 slides there. Only now should we really be thinking about what platform we're going to use, because, and even this is probably quite an early stage, you know, again, might be a little bit harsh. The last person you want to talk to is a web design agency or web development agency, because they're designers and developers. They're not marketers. They are looking for guidance from you about what they need to build. Yeah. So again, that relationship we talked about at the beginning with web agency and client, it's missing that injection of market data analysis, basically data understanding. So let's say, you know, we're ready to kind of choose our platform. How complex is the product or service that you're offering? So if you're selling socks, you know, it's a simple Shopify build. If you're selling a new car like Ford Fiesta and you need to have customization options, you know, you're probably not going to do that with Shopify. You might be able to. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be expensive to develop either way, but Shopify is generally more of a consumer, it's for simple products. Yeah. Think of Gymshark, Naissance is on Shopify, Ultrawaves on Shopify. To put it into context, I've probably overseen, I don't know. I normally do about 2 migrations a year, so I'll help make sure that's a smooth process. I've probably done 15 Magento to Shopify migrations in the last 12 months. Yeah, so there is this one that's driven because Magento, the first version of it is being sunset. So, you know, you are at risk if you don't move. So, you know, companies typically will look at Magento 2. If you've got a simple product and you want to, and you're at this opportunity where it's like, do we go from Magento 1 to Magento 2? You have to consider Shopify in that mix. Magento is very, very expensive to develop against. You need a team of people who understand Magento. Not many people do, and at the level that it needs to be. Shopify, if you're selling socks again or something similar, whether it could be customized cards. When I say customized cards, if you're looking to, send it to somebody, Shopify, or simple platforms like that, which you could be up and running in an hour. I reckon I probably could have set a Shopify store up which looked half decent in the time of this webinar call. If you go Magento, it's a significant investment. It's a significant skill set required to run that properly. And you've got platforms in between like WooCommerce. Again, it's going to need it's definitely going to need design and development input. You've got things like BigCommerce. I think that's not used that one myself. I think that's more along the Shopify route. Wix is an interesting one at the moment. If you asked me 2 years ago what I thought of Wix, don't go near the barge pole. I think, they're seeing the opportunity, I think, to make that platform good. What else we got? There's a whole host. Squarespace, got a couple of clients on Squarespace. They're simple platforms. I think you'll get to a limit pretty quickly with Squarespace and Wix because they just haven't. They were built as website builders. They weren't built for e-commerce at the concept stage. Shopify, Magento were built to sell stuff. Basically, they weren't built to present. What's the word? It's not like a brochure website. It is the function of those platforms is to sell stuff. Yeah. Think about integration. So if you've got stock control, or how's it going to integrate with your stock? Again, with Magento and Shopify, it's plug and play generally. Any kind of stock control system worth its salt should be integrated with those two platforms. Likewise, it's the same with the others, but you're probably going to start to hit the limits when you get to the Wix and Squarespaces. How much control do you want? So if you go something like Magento, you've got unlimited control and pretty much do whatever you want. Technically, if you go Shopify, you can not go near the code base, and you've got a world-class e-commerce platform. How much support do you want to get? Do you need quite a bit of hand-holding through the process? Magento I haven't had a good experience with Magento support, but that might just be my experience. And again, it's, Magento was built by developers for developers. Shopify, it's built for anybody just to go in and start selling stuff. And the support's really good. I'm trying not to. I am a Shopify fanboy, but it just works, and pretty critically, is it SEO friendly? So, Squarespace, I've had issues with that in terms of how you organize products. Shopify is probably a 9 out of 10. Magento done properly is a 10. But it's very difficult and expensive to get it there. So these are the main platforms in the market at the moment. So Magento, WooCommerce, Shopify, BigCommerce, Squarespace, many others, but those are the main ones. So which one do you pick? And I'm not going to dwell on this one because there's many factors, but I would like to drop in that we are at a technology crossroads. So I'm going to get a little bit technical here, but there is what's called a coupled architecture and a headless architecture. Now, we just launched a new website for a client, cost a lot of money, and if you run it through any of the Google tools, one is called Google Page Speed Insights. So if you've got if you're working with any agencies or people who kind of manage your website for you, run your website through Google PageSpeed Insights and a tool called GT Metrics. And you'll probably find that even the newest websites don't rank particularly or don't score particularly well in those tools. Now, there's a new technology which is coming out which separates like your stock management, if you like, and the whole thing of Magento and Shopify, all that complexity of the back end, and it decouples it from the front end. So we're at a crossroads where that's going to start to become very, very popular. So an example, if you want to look at it, is Selco. So selcobw.com is running headless Magento. Very expensive at the moment, but if you've got the budget, you definitely want to be thinking about it, because in probably a year and a half, well, in a year's time, Google's already told us that the user experience is going to become a ranking factor. Speed is a ranking factor at the moment, but it's quite easy to get your website to be fast to load. But in terms of user experience, it's quite difficult. So again, unfortunately, this choice is budget driven at the moment. But if you've got the budget, definitely thinking about it, because come a year and a half's time, it's going to be on the table, and your web and your rankings will be suffering if you don't go down that route, unfortunately. Just going to drop that in there. Do you even need a website? Can you leverage Amazon, eBay, Etsy? Yeah, so Amazon ranks very well for a lot of stuff. See if I can give you an example. If I search up here for Nissan's castor oil, ignore the paid search results up here, right? Amazon, it organically is ranking top for that search term. Yeah. Do you need to invest in a website? Is interesting proposition. It's obviously more expensive to sell through Amazon than it is directly on your website. Okay, so but again, you've got to consider that. Just so I drop that one in. I know we're coming up to time here, and I want to get some questions in. Test, measure, learn, repeat that process, and you need to keep doing those things forever, because the opportunity, if your conversion rate to sales, if you convert 3 in 100 people to buy your product, you've only got to get one more, and you increase your revenue potentially by 33%. So you've only got to get one more person to buy a product out of 100, and it can have a massive impact on your revenue. You do that by test, measure, learn, and you can do that with Google Analytics, Google Optimize. Just change things. Yeah. We're doing that with a company called hampers.com at the moment, where we're exposing search box by default on mobile. So 50% of the people see the search box, 50% of people don't see the search box by default. Okay, so paid advertising, Google ads, Facebook ads, have a budget. You've got to give yourself a budget to start with, because that's important. You've got to know how much money you want to spend. You want to know what percentage of your margin you're willing to give up on acquiring a customer. And any agency you work with, you want to be driving them. You basically you don't spend your money unless somebody's giving you a cost per acquisition of getting that customer. Because if they don't give it to you, they're probably hiding something. They don't want you to know that it may not be working. Yeah, so cost per acquisition is an absolute key one there. And our competitors already doing paid search. So because if competitors are already doing it, it'll give you a bit more confidence to go into that space. And how long they've been doing it for, again, even gives you a bit more confidence. So again, with SEMrush, now we got, against third-party data, we're probably only seeing a snippet of what's actually happening, but we know they've been running paid search at some level since November 2018. Now, you don't run paid search for long periods of time unless it works. So, think about that. That's if you're like, oh, I don't know whether to do paid search or not, have a look what competitors are doing. You know, if they've been doing it for a long time, it's probably working, it's probably profitable. Site search, that box in e-commerce is the most important thing on the website. People who search, that's your customers telling you what you want or what they want. So, you know, Selco probably gets, I don't know this, but they probably get 10,000 people a day telling them what they expect to find on the website. Now, in what other kind of industry or technology do you get that kind of information where people are telling you what they actually want to buy from you? It's just as important as it gets in terms of data. So people who search convert at least twice as well, right? So people who don't search, 1.63. This is just over 3 clients as examples. Visits with search, yeah, double, 4 times, and again 4-5 times. Yeah, so incredibly valuable and incredibly important to get it absolutely spot on and use that data. If they can't find it, they can't buy it. Yeah, I think read that last week. Web chat, coming to the end here. Web chat. So people, you know, web chat's quite a key thing. You've got to engage people. They want to engage with you. Phone number, you know, it's quite an intimidating method of contact. Web chat's very easy. You can use it very tactically in the user journey. I'll share these slides so you can read about a bit more in depth here, but you can relate web chat to the content that they're actually looking at. So if we look at this page within Jovia, so I'm looking here specifically at their hotel page, sell more experience in your hotel. Boom, want to skyrocket your hotel revenue. Yes, please. Okay, so they're talking to me. They know what I'm looking at. They're talking to me directly about my problem, or you know, what else we got? Reviews sell stuff. Yeah, so you know, testimonials and things like that. They simply sell products. So make sure you've got a review strategy. 3 days after you typically sell a product, you'd ask for a review. Third-party reviews are very important. Trustpilot, FIFO, etc. So think about your strategy for acquiring those. So this is called this is actually called the Google Rater Guidelines. I've specifically taken the word Google out of the mix here because this document will, if you read it, it's pretty meaty. It's 200 pages. You only really need to read the first, 40 pages. But this is Google's guidelines. So this is a Google internal document. This is what they give to 10,000 contractors and say, hey, can you go and review this website for me? Or sorry, can you go and review this keyword? And we want you to feed back on how effectively we return the results. So, and they also go and have a look at web pages, and they will try and feed back on, you know, what's the quality of that website versus against this search term. So if we click down here, right, so given that we're looking at e-commerce, so for shopping websites, we'll ask you, as in the contractor, to do some special checks. Look for contact information, including the store's policies on payment, exchanges, and returns. Sometimes this information is listed under customer service. What they're telling you there is that on your website, you need to have those things included. Yeah, because people, that's a key part of the buy cycle. Yeah. If we look at reviews, find the homepage, sources of reputation. You know, yeah, what it says in here is that for some businesses, even a slightly negative review or a slightly negative set of reviews, so you know, proportionally against your business, can have a detrimental impact on your ability to rank. So, you know, getting reviews, actioning any negative reviews, very, very important. Yeah. So there's a link in there. You can read that. Sign up to this. It's called Think with Google. Will give you information from Google's kind of research that they do. This one is pretty mind-blowing. It's called Rising Retail Categories. So my friend Matt sells paddle boards. He's listed, he's just sold out, can't get any. So this is telling you what people are interested in at the moment. Okay, golf clubs, golf bags, golf balls, portable toilets and urination devices. Interesting. Yeah, but we all know the reason why toilets closed. There you go. All done. Start your e-commerce journey, or think about how you refactor to align better with what your customers actually want. Thanks for me done.
Nice one, Lee.
Thanks, Lou. Anyone want to come off microphones, make any comments? Or I know some of you might have to shoot off because and you might have just dedicated an hour this morning, but if you want to ask any questions or comments to Lee, now's your chance.
Yeah, I've got a question, Lee. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, good presentation. So the question for me is, what proportion of paid search actually plays a part in this kind of test, measure, and learn cycle? Because, of course, when you make changes, the best way to actually test the changes is to, I guess, buy clicks rather than waiting for organic clicks. So with the companies you're working with, what kind of proportion of their budget is put towards, I guess, PPC to test that what you're doing is working?
I mean, one I can think of off the top of my head, paid search is 80%. So, it's 80% of their traffic, and in terms of their marketing spend, it's probably the same, 70, 80%. It's huge. Yeah. So, organic has, the thing about paid search is that you can very quickly get into a market. So you can say, look, we've refactored this product or this service. Let's go and test it against the market tomorrow. Yeah. Whereas organic search, you may find that, it's going to take you a while to rank for it. Paid search, test and learn tomorrow if it works. If it doesn't work, the week after you change it for something else. Yeah. So one thing.
Sorry.
No, just in terms of some feedback from one of the guys I work with in terms of paid media, is that testing on Facebook is probably, even B2B, testing on Facebook is much cheaper than LinkedIn or Google Ads. Yeah, so you get more traffic cheaper to test against, and then you can take those learnings from Google Ads into whether it's LinkedIn or Google Ads.
Could you, you've given loads of information, and this webinar will be put up on the AGP LinkedIn platform. So if you're not a member, people, you must join that. But could you add a little list, or send a little list of the tools that people can separate them out, the ones that a company sees about their own product, can use for their own companies, and ones that are clearer, that can give them the information about competitors?
Yeah.
Just something, a simple email on that, I think would be really useful to people.
Okay. I can do that. Any other questions? I think, what have we got? I haven't read any of the chat widgets. Yeah, okay, list of tools, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no, okay. Good on the chat, there's nothing on there, so.
Okay.
Fabulous. Thanks, Lee, for that this morning.
Thanks,
Lee. Thanks for everyone for giving us your time as well. So have a good rest of the day.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks all. Bye.
Take care. Bye.